Like I said, that was my biggest fear, that people would be teasing me, jumping online, because it's so hard to do. So hard to show your face every single day on the internet and not knowing what people are saying. And I mean, it's not my business what people are saying, but at the same time, when you are a people pleaser as such, you do want people to like you.
Today on More Than a Score, we're sitting down with someone whose story many young people and parents will instantly recognise. Stacey Lapira's school experience didn't end the way she expected. She was convinced she'd smashed it until her final exams came in and everything fell apart. And yet, what happens next is the part every family needs to hear. Stacey shows us how disappointment can become direction, how pathways can open even when a door closes, and how the people around you, the right people, can give you hope when you've lost it for yourself. From choosing a brand new university course in the middle of her heartbreak, to switching careers again and again, to working inside a maximum security prison, to secondary teaching, to becoming a fitness coach running 3 gyms. Stacey's journey is a masterclass in courage, adaptability, and backing yourself even when you're scared.
I mean, Laura, that sounds pretty good. And for parents, there's something powerful here too. Stacey's story shows how one supportive sibling, one honest conversation, one moment of advocacy, one belief, Laura, can completely change the path ahead for a young person. If you or someone you know is stressed about results, feeling unsure of themselves, or struggling to find their path, or if you're a parent wanting to support them with confidence, this is an episode you'll want to listen to all the way through. Welcome to More Than a Score.
Do you want to do your intro, Dan?
Are you recording now? It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Stacey Lapira. No, Stacey Lapira. I'm very excited. I feel like when we first sent you a message, I got told that my message was quite upbeat.
Very smiley message. It made me smile.
Yes. Oh, that's really nice. I'm now turning my intro into, again, another compliment to me. This is great. So I'm really lucky. I get to craft and create a little bit of an introduction for each guest. So there's a bit of pressure, but it's always because I like to come from a slightly different angle.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Okay. All right. Now, if I get anything wrong, please feel free to jump in and correct, okay? All right. So personal trainer, prison officer, teacher, motivated and determined connector who seeks to really get to know those around them, a deep thinker and reflector, a mum of 3 boys, open-minded pathway explorer who uses any opportunity to learn, and a genie who can turn wishes into reality if you're willing to do hard work, fun, commitment, and consistently turn up. Stacey Lapira, it's lovely to have you here on More Than a Score.
That was so cool. I liked that.
Well, I was feeling like,
genie.
I know, I was thinking, I wrote semi-genie, but then I was like, no, you're a full genie, because you listen to people's wishes, and then if they're willing to work hard with the work that they do in all your gyms, they can actually get the thing that they want.
I love that.
All right. Well, feel free to put in your marketing strategy or something like
in my bio. I'm going to add that to it.
Well, something that we do at the start of every episode is when you think back to the end of your time at school, were you happy with your score?
I knew this question was going to come because I've listened to some of your podcasts and I feel like I might be the only guest that said no.
No. Oh, there's some people that say they were happy because they did better than they thought. There's others that have gone unscored. Laura, you're about...
Yeah, there have been people that weren't happy. But it's always interesting as to why they weren't happy, because sometimes it's not because of the number of the score. Like there's various reasons that people are unhappy. So you were not happy.
I wasn't. I was actually devastated because I had expectations that I was going to get a great score.
Okay, so tell me what does a great score mean to you? Because context is important.
Okay, so in my mind, I was thinking I would get over. Back then, I don't know if it's the same as now. It was an ATAR. Is ATAR still around?
ATAR, yeah.
Or was it an enter score? I can't remember. Anyway,
yeah, back in our school, enter.
Yes.
ATAR.
So I was hoping for over 90. And I think I had mid-year exams and I got really great scores mid-year. So I was like, awesome, like I've got this. And I don't know what happened, but the end of year I must have absolutely flunked and I didn't go as good as what I had anticipated or hoped for. And all my preferences were quite high in terms of what I wanted to get into for uni. And it was just like, well, now what am I going to do? And then you just think your whole world is falling apart because like, what's my pathway going to be now? So it took me a long time to process. And I think when all of your friends around you are somewhat getting what they had hoped for and you felt like you're the only person that didn't, it was really hard for me to, I suppose, come to terms with it.
So in terms of the preferences you had on your list,
Yep.
What did you have to do when you got your score? Did you have to change your preferences? Were you kind of hoping that maybe you would go anyway? Like what was the
Yes, because gosh, it was a long time ago. But I think there was like second round offers, third round offers, which I did not get. So then I ended up having to change my preferences altogether and go for same kind of feel. So I went for a criminal justice degree that was an enter score that I could get into. So I ended up going for that kind of pathway, which was amazing. Like, it ended up working out perfectly. But in that moment, you couldn't see what other options could be. Like, I was just completely narrow-minded, very negative.
If the pathway had gone according to plan, what were you hoping to have done?
I was hoping to get into like a psychology degree, but like a law kind of avenue as well.
Okay.
So
how did the criminal justice serve you then?
Well, I thought to myself, it's still in that law kind of pathway. And I was like, look, I could just give this a go, see how I like it, try it for a semester. I can always defer if I wanted to. So I was like, I'll just try it and see how I go. And I ended up trying it and loving it. And yeah, I feel like I'm almost blessed so that it happened that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you have to kind of think, like, what is the positive in this situation? So
when did you start to see it as a positive? When in the journey?
I think pretty much straight away. Like, as soon as probably when I started my degree and I started to go, oh, hang on a minute, this is actually okay. You know, all of those, like the holiday period, you're still thinking like, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? And what could I have done better? Or, you know, all the whys and the what ifs. But as soon as I started the course and being amongst people that were in similar situations to me, I also came to realize that I was the only person in that situation. Like, there are many people that may not get that score that they had hoped for. And there's always ways to go about it.
Yeah.
And so listening to that because you use the word devastated.
Yes.
So not just like disappointed, upset, like you were devastated.
Yep.
So I'm really, really curious to hear from being devastated to then making this decision to adjust your preferences and then get into this degree, which then set you up on the path that you hadn't planned on, but you adapted and you learned. Talk us through the moment of being devastated to actually making that shift, changing your preferences and getting into criminal justice. What did you do to go from being devastated to then adapting and choosing and pivoting to this new option?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first got my enter score, and it was like, I would have back then factored it as one of the worst days of my life. Like, I was absolutely, I was really upset, but I was also somewhat embarrassed, I would say, as well, because at that point, everyone's like calling you, messaging you, what's your score? And when you don't have the news that you had hoped for, like, I completely shut off from everyone. I removed myself from my friendship groups because I was embarrassed. I was like, I've failed. And that was, I suppose, that internal dialogue was continuously, you failed. And even disappointing my parents, I think, because they had hopes that I was going to do better than what I had anticipated. And judging by those mid-year exams, even teachers had really high hopes for me.
Yeah.
So
that's a really uncommon situation. Generally, it goes the other way. Generally, and they don't do mid-year exams anymore, but generally mid-year exams are always the ones with the wake-up call.
Yes.
And so then the kids get to the end and they would be scrambling because they're like, well, I don't want to repeat generally. So to have them the other way, that's an interesting moment too, isn't it? We think, oh, I'm going to do well. I've got proof now that I'm going to do well.
And I wonder if it was the mid-year exam that maybe allowed me to go, oh, hang on, I've got this, and gave me that confidence within myself to go, oh, maybe I don't need to try as hard. But I do think, like, I was that student that loved studying, and I would be in my room cramming notes, and like I loved it. I would be hours on end just like learning and enjoying it. And so yeah, I went from that, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed, I've disappointed everyone around me, what am I going to do? And I honestly think it was my sister that was probably my backbone in that period of time, who was like, no, there are other ways, there are other pathways to go about it. Like, you didn't need to get that amazing score to be able to then be seen as successful as such. Because I think in year 12, year 11, your VCE time period when you're at school, I know when I went to school, it was always about that number, and that if you got that ideal number, that was what success was.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
To be putting all of that pressure on young kids.
No, absolutely.
Sorry, can I ask, did that score impact your love of learning for a time at all? Did you love
Do you know what?
learning?
Yes.
Did it?
I think my first year of my uni degree, I probably didn't have, my heart wasn't there. Like, I was just like, in my mind, I was all of a sudden dumb. And so, again, the want to study wasn't there, the effort wasn't there, and my results, again, weren't really showing. And then it wasn't probably until I started building that rapport with lecturers, and then giving me some hope, that I was like, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I can find love in what I'm doing. And then there are so many amazing different pathways and careers that I can get from this particular degree.
Yeah. What did that hope look like? You said people provided you hope.
Yeah. I think because I had lecturers that were working within the careers that I was maybe aspiring to be. Like, I had one lecturer who had amazing stories of being a prison officer, and I was like, this sounds so cool. And I was like, well, that could be something that I could potentially want to do. Amazing experiences that a lot of people don't get to, see what is inside a prison or what is involved within that. And she had that, and I was like, all right, that sounds like something fun, something engaging, something that I would want to potentially try. So yeah.
That's amazing. It's funny. There's this theory called hope theory, and really what it's about is, so high hopers are more likely to be resilient. They're more likely to have like greater life outcomes, whatever. Like, there's lots of different life outcomes, but the key for people having higher hope is if you have a compelling goal, so you can see something really clearly. So listening to you then, you have these lectures that we're doing, you're thinking, oh, I can picture that, I can see it.
Yeah.
The next step is pathways, so how options that I can get there.
Yes.
And then the third part is agency. So do I think I can actually do this, or do I have some sort of belief that I can learn or develop it or get support to do it? And listening to that, it sounds like even though you were devastated, and I keep coming back to this thing of, because I'm so fascinated, you got smashed by seeing this score that didn't live up to what you'd hoped.
Yeah.
But then you adjust. You have a sister that sits next to you and says, hey, there's some different options, there's ways you can do it. You then back yourself to try out something that was connected to law, connected to it. You could see that it was still channeling. And then you got access to these people that helped you see really clearly where you could get to. And that seemed to boost your motivation
100%.
And connection.
Yes.
And as we release this, it's going to be either just after people have had results.
Yes.
What's the key thing that you think for anyone that's devastated, anyone that's maybe disappointed, what's the biggest piece of advice that you'd like to share for them as they're going through what you went through?
Gosh, I would say be really kind to yourself, 100%, and also just take time. Like, you don't have to make your mind up then and there. Just take the time to process and seek out good people around you that can give you tangible advice, I think, because I think sometimes, like myself, I really isolated myself from a lot of people, and then you just get in your own head and it's that negative self-talk that can really just spiral you, and as soon as you start spiraling, it's really hard to crawl yourself back up. But if you've got people that can, really support you and show you that there are varying ways to get to where you want to be, you just need someone there to back you.
There'd probably be lots of people, if you really reflect, there probably would have been a lot of people in your life being like, it'll be fine.
Yes.
What was it about your relationship with your sister that allowed her to be the person that you listened to?
I think my sister she's honest, but she's just one of those people that I know I can just be completely me and there's no judgment. Yeah. And I think that's where I thought to myself, like, I'm judging myself, and I felt like all my friends were judging me, but I had someone there that zero judgment, complete support and would actually sit there and go, okay, what are your options here? Like, let's map them out. Let's have a bit of let's give you the options. Let's write them out and see what pathway you can potentially, go down and what you're inclined, what's going to bring you that light, that excitement. And just, sitting there, taking our time to actually sit, write and understand what my options were. Because sometimes when you're in that negative mindset, you can't see any options. You can't see your way out. But if you've got someone there that is actually, let's sit there and actually map it out. You've got so many options. Like, there are so many options, but you just need to have someone there that's going to direct you and show you your way.
Yeah.
It's like coaching's a pretty big buzzword right now, but the original meaning of like a coach, right? Like, it got you from A to B. So when you were stuck, so you literally got in a carriage and it helped get you to that next point. And listening to what you're saying is you had people around you that helped you when you were stuck, actually got you to the next point, which then got you to the next point, which really continued on all the progress that you had. I'm loving this conversation. It's just so fascinating. No, especially because, as you said before, like, you thought you may be one of the first people that was saying, oh, I was devastated. But you didn't let this experience stop you. You then, can we start to go down the next steps that happened with like your journey and your path?
Yeah,
is that all right?
100%.
Because I'm thinking of that. So devastated, you then adjusted, you pivoted. I feel silly saying the word pivoted. We've oversaid that with like the pandemic.
Yeah, I know. It was
You both gave me on just then. All right. So, you changed course. That's what we say. So you didn't receive the results you wanted. You were devastated. So you made this switch, degree in criminal justice. You then moved from that to work in a maximum security prison.
Yes.
Shifted again. So as you were jumping into that, you then started to change and spotted a new opportunity within community to become a community corrections officer. And as that went, you then saw another opportunity where you thought, oh, I'm interested in going down this pursuit of like helping people, working. I think a social work degree might be of interest. As you jumped in, a semester in, you thought, no, this is of interest, but I don't know if this is the right fit. So you backed yourself again. So you got into the system, transferred degrees. I'm looking for you to keep nodding. This is good. You transferred into a primary, secondary degree. You're like, great, this seems like a really good fit. Went in, did a year of teaching primary school teaching, and you thought, it's not quite the fit.
Yes.
So I love the idea that you did primary, secondary. So you thought, I'm going to go into secondary. So you already, there's a theme of, I'm continuing to just narrow down and see what the fit is. And then you felt really settled in secondary. You're like, this is my people. These are my people. This is the thing that I really love.
Yep.
And after a number of years, you then met your then boyfriend who became your husband, PT. The business started to rapidly grow. You tried to do that thing of balancing between supporting the business. You discovered, again, that fit of, I really love health and fitness. It got to that point where you had to pick between the two.
Yes.
You then leaned into the health and fitness. And that's now led to you completing a Cert 3 and 4 in fitness and now running 3 gyms and doing nutrition coaching. When you hear all of that and you go, what's been the takeaways or the biggest lessons you've learned through that incredible path from being devastated to where you are now?
That life has got so much opportunity. Like, it's got so much opportunity. I think we can really forget that. And if something isn't serving you, absolutely okay. Change. Just there are so many different pathways we can take. And I think reading all that, you can just tell, like, I am the type of person where if something doesn't feel right for me, I will then go, okay, what's something else I can try? And by trying all these different things, it just gives you so much experience and meeting different people and experiencing so many different things. And I think I'm lucky that I've been able to go down so many different ways and find what kind of feels right. And now, obviously, I feel like I'm not teaching, but I am doing a form of teaching. And
Definitely are.
yes. And I feel like for me, what really fulfills me is helping people. And I think even from the very beginning through, prison officer all the way to now, coaching ladies, getting strong, able, fit, helping them with their nutrition, it's always been a form of helping. Yeah, I think that was my thing. It was just trying to find what kind of worked amongst all of that. But there are so many possibilities, so many. I just think try everything because it's just going to give you wealth of knowledge and experience and so many highlights. And life, I always say, is to be lived. So just try everything.
And if you think of the highlights throughout all those different changes or like slight tweaks that have occurred, what have been like the core lessons that you've learned with each little shift or change that you think?
Core lessons, wow. I think it would just be to back yourself for sure. And it would also be, if something doesn't feel right, just try something else. Just keep trying until you find your thing.
I love that. That's such a great message. So if I'm a listener and I'm sitting there and I'm not sure if I should make the move to have a try, because you sound like someone that trying and adapting and you see the possibilities as a really great thing. If I'm someone that's a little bit scared of trying, is there something that you do or say or like some steps that you always take when you go to try a new thing?
I really like the phrase choose your heart, just because I think it's one of those things where it can be hard to take that different step where you don't know what the outcome is going to be. You know, change is very daunting. And I think we sometimes refrain from wanting to take that step because we don't know what the outcome could be. But the hard could be staying where you are and potentially not living your best life or not feeling completely fulfilled, but you stay there. That's the hard that you're choosing to do. You stay there, but then you don't know what the possibility could be. So you take the other hard option of stepping out of your comfort zone, going into that unknown, but then, wow, what could be the possibility there?
Have you always been this optimistic? Like, is this something that when you think back, have you always been so optimistic and so on? That... is it all right to ask it? Like, when did that change?
I have to say, I am inherently, I would say I'm a glass is half empty kind of person. But ever since I've had Aaron, who is my husband, he is a very positive, optimistic, go-getter kind of person. And he always is, well, why don't try? Like, why not give it a go? And the way I see him,
Motto, I feel like, why wouldn't you have a go?
Yeah.
My mum and dad often used to say, like, well, why wouldn't you try?
Yes.
And I've realised now it's such a luxury to like just have that said into me. Since I was little. Sorry, but
no, 100%, and that's his life motto. If something doesn't, like, for him, he always sees everything as a possibility, everything as a great outcome, everything as a learning as such. So I think with having him internally in my brain all the time, I know that at the end of the day, you can always try, and if it doesn't work out, you can go back. Like, it's what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I always try and really think now, okay, what could be, I could get so much out of this potential, so why not give it a try and give it a go?
So I was telling Loz about how I completely bombed out because I think when people go through all these changes, it's like, you know, all the mistakes that you've made and the things that you've learned, but sometimes when we're listening to it, we don't hear all the richness of all the mistakes. So I was telling Laurie the other day, I got into a really lucky position to be able to go for this deputy principal role at this international school, and I completely bombed the interview, like completely stuffed up, freaked out, didn't know what to do. Massive, so embarrassing, but it was a really brilliant learning opportunity. So from then on, that's changed the way that I always show up anytime that I'm in an interview, the way I prepare for it. So when I was hearing you describe all of this, I just thought, what are the key mistakes or like things that went wrong within all of those changes that maybe people don't know about for you that were actually really helpful?
Oh, it's a hard question, isn't it? So what were all the things that went wrong?
So think of, you don't have to tell us all the things. Don't sit there and tell us. Think of
You might
the
think
key.
were the course corrections. Like,
Yeah.
that, like, you were like, oh, if I keep going this way, it's not going to be the right. Like, what were those sort of course corrections, failures, mistakes, whatever you want to call them?
That became an unexpected learning opportunity.
Yeah, and eventual win potentially.
Yeah. So for me, while you're thinking, the one is when I thought of that interview moment, it sucked. But it's fundamentally changed the way that I communicate when I'm like, if I'm going for a role or speaking about or prepare. So at the time, I remember calling my wife and I was nearly in tears because I was like, I completely mucked up, like felt like I'd let her down, let my family down, let myself down. But looking back, it was so helpful because I realized, well, you didn't properly prepare. You let the moment overtake you. There was imposter syndrome. I didn't trust myself to jump in and actually back myself. So it's a really helpful learning opportunity.
Too, right?
And I went back and asked them. I didn't want to hear the feedback, but I was like, choose my hard. I was like, well, it's good to hear what they were seeking instead. So they told me what I should have done and what they were looking for. And I took that and used that to help me. So I was just really interested, given that you've had so much really great opportunities of spotting possibilities. I'm sure there's been some sort of mistake.
For me, I don't know if they're mistakes. What comes to my mind is for example, teaching. Great job. It was an ongoing position, right? So great job, loved it. And there was no reason for me to go and help Aaron with personal training. And my dad was like, "You have got what is wrong with you? Like, why do you keep changing and always
generation to the boomer generation?"
Yes.
Do you mean you literally get a job, you stay
there,
40-year watch or whatever?
Yes.
Like that was the messaging that we as millennials got.
Yes. Yeah. So again, he was like, my daughter, why does she keep changing from one job to another? Like, she can't stay in one spot. And I remember thinking to myself, I loved teaching. I loved it. I loved my secondary school. I loved the kids. I had a great rapport with them. And then Aaron's like, "But you've got to help me. You've got to help me." And I was like, I don't know if I don't know if I want to give this up. And again, you've got people telling you, "No, you've got a great job. Don't give this up." And then someone else saying, "But maybe this could really work." Again, it's that pull of going, do I take that chance and lose out on now giving up my ongoing position and what I absolutely, truly love, to going to help my husband or my partner at the time, where I was like, I don't even know if this is going anywhere. I had no idea. He was just starting off. It could have literally been a 6-month thing for all I knew.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'll try and help him and see where that kind of leads. And I think that was, I suppose, a really pivotal moment, because it was like, I'm actually leaving something that I really enjoy and love truly, to then go into the unknown.
And it's interesting because I saw there was a hesitation with the word mistake, but I was purposely using it because it sounded like a mistake to your dad. But for you, you were like, no, this could be an opportunity or a possibility. It could be something.
Yeah.
And I think I'm already picking up from you that theme of choose your hard or spot the opportunity is a really telling perspective that you bring to it.
But I don't think I knew at that time it was a possibility. I think it was more so, I'll do this to help you, but I don't actually know if I want to be helping you right now.
Wow.
And that's where I kind of landed.
So tell me about that, because I actually don't think many people would make that decision, actually. You've got a really stable job, you're enjoying it, you've got a great school, you've got great rapport with the kids. There's a lot of ticks going on there.
Yes.
It's a big call, Aaron. This is a big call.
What was it more about wanting to show up for his success? What was it that, because I actually find the decision to do that really, or is there an element of this is an adventure? What?
No, I don't think it was an element of an adventure.
Next question.
Definitely not. I think for me, I'm such a people pleaser, and I felt like if I didn't help him, who I cared for so much, I'll be letting him down, and maybe his opportunity to succeed would then be on me because I didn't help him. That was probably where my head was at.
Are you still a people pleaser?
Do you know what? I would love to say no, but I think I still am.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it serves you though sometimes?
Yeah, potentially. I just feel like I'm that type of person where I like to make people feel good, potentially to the detriment of how I want to feel. But I think it's just one of those things where I just really try and please where I can. And I think at that point, that's all it was. It was me wanting to just see him succeed. So I will stop what I'm doing, even though I'm loving it, and see where it goes.
What's been the payoff then?
Yeah.
Because that's such a gutsy move.
Totally.
And to do it, so you're investing in the relationship, investing in Aaron, and also having to move away and make, if I'm your dad, a potential mistake, changing again. What's been the payoff from it?
Well, I think the payoff's been amazing, to be honest. It's such an uplifting environment to be in. To be able to coach people and see them change and give them a gift of health is the biggest gift you can give anyone. And I think the payoff, yes, hard in terms of, oh my gosh, I'm losing out on having an impact on kids' lives and being that teacher where I know so many of them felt comfortable with and had that connection with, to then leave that and then go to coaching adults and having that impact on them. I think the payoff was amazing in the end. But could I see it then? Definitely not. And there was so much, I suppose, hesitation for quite some time. But working with your partner, again, can be challenging for sure. But again, in an environment which is quite supportive and very positive is always a good thing.
If you consider, imagine there was a sliding doors moment and he chose the other pathway. Do you think you'd be in alignment as much as you are now?
Probably not, because I feel like I've changed so much.
So tell me about that.
Well, I feel like I don't know, for me, one of my highest values is health. By far. Like, I'm the type of person that no matter how tired I am, how unmotivated I am, I will always show up for myself, for my own health, because I know if I don't have that, I don't have anything. And for me to be able to teach other women the importance of that is a gift within itself. So I feel like I'm really lucky to be able to, teach people the importance of, putting themselves forward. Because I think as parents, especially mums, what we tend to do is put our own needs, wants very last on the priority list. And it's like, no, like it doesn't need to be number one, but definitely needs to be in maybe the top three.
Yeah.
Because if you're not showing up for yourself, how can you then potentially show up as the best mum, partner, whatever it is? And we always say we want to give our children the best thing, or we want to do everything for our children. But if you're not actually looking after your health, then you're not doing anything for your children, because your children want you to be there forever. But not just be there, be in the best shape that you can be, have energy for them, hang out with them, play with them, do all kinds of things with them. So
what are your 3 non-negotiables then for showing up for yourself?
Yep. So it would be movement in some capacity, whether that is strength training, whether it is going for a run, whether that is any form of movement, for me is a non-negotiable every single day. Another one would be good, nutritious food. So trying to really eliminate the unprocessed foods and just ensuring that I'm getting enough to fulfill me, to fuel me, to be able to do whatever I want to do for the day and feel good throughout the day. And another one would be hydration. That would be my 3 non-negotiables.
I feel like I'm definitely not doing good enough on number 2. So that's, I'll talk to you off here. Get any tips I can.
There are Florentines in the fridge.
Hey, it's a different kind of fuel, which is also delicious too. Is it all right if I come back to, I feel like if I'm the listener, I'm sitting there going, hang on, so she did some work in prisons.
That's what I wanted to.
And max security, I was like,
and you wanted to talk about.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No.
So
prison stuff.
I'm really fascinated. You literally bounced on the couch just before and had a really big smile when you're talking about the love of teaching. And you've also said that every single step throughout this pathway you've learned and discovered things. Talk to us about the time when you were working in prisons. Like, what did you take from that? What did you discover?
One of my lecturers, as I said, was a prison officer. She put the idea to me and I was like, well, why not? Let's just try and see what happens. And at that point of time, I was only 21. So I was quite young and I was the youngest prison officer that they had ever employed.
In a male maximum security prison.
Yes. Yeah. So,
and can we just describe you physically? Like, how tall are you?
1'5".
Yeah,
little.
You're a little. Like, I don't like. Not that really matters, but I would say we wouldn't look at you necessarily and go, "Oh, prison officer."
No,
like, okay,
not the typical
breaking stereotypes.
That's crazy, but I think that people would. I think there would be an element of, what do you mean? You're a prison officer?
Yes,
in a security prison.
Yes. So. I remember I was shit scared going into my first shift, not knowing what to expect. But the beauty about it was the men, like the prisoners that I was working with, and yes, they were maximum security of all varying kinds of crimes they had committed, they were so respectful. Which was, I suppose, probably their way of trying to woo me, because that's what they would always try and do with, obviously, other officers that were there, trying to get them on their side and that kind of thing. And they were very charismatic, like, again, trying to get them on their side. But for me, the most daunting thing was a female prison by far. So I had to go to the female prison to practice strip searching so I could get that ticked off my training. And the female prisoners were next level. Like, that was quite eye-opening, and I never want to step foot in another female prison ever again after that one day.
Why? What was going on?
They were really rude, very disrespectful, like the language that they would use towards us.
We won't put that in the show notes. We won't put the quotes in the show notes.
It was full on. Like, I had never come across such vulgar language before in my life, and they were really intimidating. Like, they were very intimidating towards another female. I mean, the prison itself was gorgeous, and then like some of the there would be babies in there with their mums, and it was very eye-opening for sure being in the female prison space for only like I said, it was like one day to practice my strip searching. But yeah, the males it was not like that at all. Like, I didn't feel unsafe as such in the males. Yes. Yeah. It was an experience. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
Could I have done it long term? No. And why? I think it was just more so the negativity of the environment. It was really negative. Not more so with the other officers.
Yeah, I was going to ask you where it was coming from.
Yeah, definitely the other officers. Like, they didn't feel like anyone could be rehabilitated, whereas I was really hopeful. And
are you still hopeful after that experience? Do you still feel that way?
I feel like some, yes, but I feel like it is very much a revolving door.
Okay.
The prison system, because you have to think when they are outside in the community, they don't have guaranteed shelter, they don't have guaranteed food, they don't have any friendships, family that are supporting them, they don't have money, they don't have anything to do. So what are they going to do? They're going to commit crimes. So they can go back into the prison and have that security because they've got the food, they've got their friends, they've got shelter, they can work in there, they can learn in there, they've got the gym in there. So there's a lot more, I suppose, security for them in a prison system, and that's why it's a revolving door.
I used to teach the film Shawshank Redemption, and it reminds me of, have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Brooks, if you remember, he's like the old man who
in the library.
Yep. Yeah, and they talk about him being institutionalized, and he seems like this lovely man, but he was much safer in the prison system. When he goes out, he actually ultimately commits suicide because he can't live in the real world. And it was such an interesting perspective I'd not considered before, because you think it's just you just want to get back out.
Yes.
And actually for some people it's a safety net.
Yeah. And for some people, they're in there for a really long time. So this is their norm.
Yeah.
And going out is so foreign to them. They don't know, like, how things have changed outside. They don't know how to adapt to that.
So interesting.
So it's quite sad, like, when you think of it like that.
I also, the silly part of me is like, we obviously weren't very intimidated working in a secondary school then.
No.
I feel like you know what, you can throw whatever. I'm okay, I've got this.
Yes, and I think that's why I really enjoyed secondary, because I felt like I could have that somewhat adult relationship with them. I could use sarcasm with them and they would get it. I just really enjoyed the secondary component as opposed to primary, which
you said here it was the opportunity to make a meaningful impact.
100%.
And you felt that over primary, you felt secondary, you could do that more so than primary.
Yes, and I think that came from my experience as a student, because there were some teachers that had such a huge impact on me that I still think about now, that believed in me, and just teachers have a huge impact on students, and I don't think they realise that. Like, you remember some of the amazing teachers and you remember some of your really not so great teachers.
Yes.
And into adulthood, like, I'm 41, and I have such vivid memories of some of my amazing and not so amazing teachers, and I want to have that impact on some of mine. And it's so funny because I've got, in our gyms in Melbourne, we've got some of my ex-students that come and train there, and they still call me my Miss Struggling, or still my maiden name.
Yeah.
And it's the best. Like, I love that I've still had that impact, because I was that teacher for a lot of them that gave them that hope and gave them that light.
Yes.
So...
And talk to us about your psychology teacher that you mentioned. Like, why that teacher? What did that do for you?
Mr. Papoulis was his name.
I love when this happens. They say the name and they smile as they say the name. Yeah. Sorry, tell us about Mr. Papoulis.
Mr. Papoulis, he just came in every single session happy to see us. he always came in with like some jokes, and he just made psychology so fun. And that was probably why I wanted to go down that road again in terms of uni. But he made it fun. He made it engaging. He understood us as a cohort. He wanted to get to know us. We weren't just students. For him, it was like we were people. He knew, our history. He wanted to find out about us. Like, he had a vested interest in his students. And I think that's where you can tell a teacher that loves what they do versus a teacher that just comes in, teaches, and then kind of like waltzes out with no enthusiasm, no love for what they do. And I think to be a teacher, you need to have that passion, like that clear passion, and that clear passion for your students that you're teaching.
Yeah. I just want to, circle back. Sorry, Dan.
No.
You also mentioned Year 9 and teaching schools.
Yep.
Based on bullying, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk, because I reckon that's not a conversation we've had on here before.
Yes.
A difficult situation and having to shift environments. And I actually think it was on Instagram, someone talking about if someone's having trouble at school, changing schools actually doesn't solve the issue. You, it did.
It did, 100%.
Yeah.
So my sister and I both went to the same school initially, and it was I would say that it wasn't very cultural. I'm trying to say it in a roundabout way. So I was
Very cultural.
no, like it wasn't.
Monocultural.
So I am of a Greek background, and year 7, year 8, I got teased for being Greek, and it was quite intense teasing. Like, I would go home in tears all the time. I would go to my locker, and my locker would have all food thrown at it, broken into. My uniform was stolen on numerous occasions. So it was just relentless. And it got to the end of year 8, and I was like, I'm not happy. Every day I would go home, I was not happy, and I said to my parents, can we please change schools? So it's quite funny because I was teased for being Greek. They then moved me to a Greek school.
Right.
So, and it wasn't close to our house. It was a 40-minute drive, but they must have seen the why as to why I was getting bullied and was like, okay, how can we protect her with this next move and take to a school where it is predominantly Greek kids?
Yeah.
So.
And celebrated as opposed to vilified.
Yes. So I got moved there in year 9, and it was the best experience for me. Like, I went from hating school year 7, year 8, not knowing what was going to happen to me on that particular day, to then going and being almost feeling as though I was part of something. Like, these were my people because of our background, which was quite sad to say, but it was just, that's how I felt like I fitted in because...
Well, a sense of belonging in your teenage years is very important.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. So yeah, everyone was similar. Everyone had similar backgrounds. Everyone had similar, even like foods they'll bring to school, or how we celebrated Easter was the same. How we spoke was the same. Our family backgrounds were the same, So it was very much in alignment to how I felt, and I felt like I was, part of that community, and I felt like I belonged.
Yeah.
So from year 9 to year 12 at that school, I felt so comfortable, and I went from being bullied to feeling like of actually thriving in that environment because I felt like these are my people and like we're all the same.
Yeah.
And listening to your story, so there's a few things that jump out to me, which is, so you had the courage to speak up, to say to your parents, because sometimes people just suffer and they go through it.
Yes.
So you spoke up, and then it sounds like your parents probably did some thinking about, well, what's a potential school that we could look at, or did you find the school?
No, it was all them.
So they might have done something, and then actually making the change and backing yourselves to choose a school that you think really fits well with your kid.
Yes.
I'm just trying to picture for the person that's listening, if you've got that, like knowing, listen to your child and then consider, well, what do I know about my kids? So therefore we can try and choose from some schools, go check them out, and then actually make the change and back yourselves. And then the outcome was like you completely did a 180.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And also I think it's one of those things with parents, you typically think, oh, this is going to be the high school for all of our kids. There's or the primary school for all of our kids, but it's always not going to be a one-size-fits-all, is it? Like, you might have one child that really thrives in the environment. My sister thrived in that school. She loved it.
Yeah.
But me going to that school, it wasn't for me.
Was she younger?
She was older.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. And
cohorts.
Yeah, I was going to say cohorts.
Cohorts are really big. Like, your sister might have been in this beautiful cohort.
Yes.
And you go and you're in a different situation. And so it is that idea that school really isn't set and forget. Like, just if it's not working, you do have an opportunity to change. Like, you're actually never stuck anywhere. I think that's what you're really advocating for, right? Like, you're never really stuck in any situation. You have agency and choice. Like, it might be challenging. You might have to get out of your comfort zone in some way, but you are never stuck fully in a situation.
No, and I think that's what is the positive about where we live. There are so many possibilities. And I think sometimes we just get set in our ways and this is the way it has to be. But it's like, no, it doesn't have to be this way. There are other options. You know, my first school that I went to was a huge school. There was maybe 1,300 kids at that school, whereas the second school that I moved to, I had a cohort of like 90.
Wow.
Like 90, 14 girls, the rest were boys. Like, it was, but it worked. So I think, yeah, sometimes you do have to listen to your child and go, okay, like, what would be the best fit for them?
Yeah.
And yeah, try and help them out wherever you possibly can.
Is there because listening to your story, there's just so many amazing experiences and so many insights with all the different shifts and possibilities and opportunities that you've just jumped at and gone, yeah, I'll choose the hard, I'll explore this and see what's possible. If you could talk to someone that is either finishing school or they're moving through like post-school, what have been the key skills that have best helped you throughout all of these changes and all of your path? Because a lot of the time, and I can see you doing a thinking face here, so I'll pad this out. This is what always helps too. So a big thing that we're hearing from like people across lots of different industries is they talk about soft skills, or, you know, sometimes 21st century skills. That might be communication, collaboration. I mean, they're really big words. If you think about your time, what have been the skills that have been of most help to you that you've been working on or that have supported you? We've had people previously talk about like resilience as being like some certain resilience skills or strategies that they've used to help them bounce back. We've had other people talk about like specific communication skills, like even the ability to listen or ask questions.
Or network.
Yeah, or networking's been another key skill where it's like they reach out and try and build up people that know different things that they can tap into. But I'm just interested, with all of your wealth of experience, are there some skills that you, as you think back, have really helped you?
Or attributes even, maybe. Like some, like Lael's one was like courage, like just being courageous in moments. Yeah.
I would like to say probably courage for me, and I think it's because like I don't know if I spoke to you about this. I was listening to a podcast and they said all you need is 20 seconds of courage, because often for you to make that phone call, it's 20 seconds to make that phone call and then you're in that conversation. Or to have that conversation with, for example, my dad or my husband or my workplace. It's that 20 seconds of that initial awkwardness or that scary moment, and then once you're in that flow of having that conversation, you're in it and you're expressing how you feel. And I think for me, it's always communication about expressing how I'm feeling. Is this feeling right? Is this feeling wrong? Is this in alignment to how I want to feel? Is this in alignment to, you know, my values? Are they getting upheld? And I think it's about communicating where I'm at, where my head's at, and then having the willingness to have those somewhat scary conversations and just expressing how I feel in that time, because I think so many of us really struggle with communicating, not wanting to, you know, put someone out or not wanting to even verbalize how we feel, because then it makes it real. But I think the communicating is really, really important, because if you're sitting there and just like internally letting it all build up, it's going to explode in some way or another. But if you just sitting there and going, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, having that awkward conversation, at least everyone knows and you're getting it out and you're expressing how you're feeling. So I suppose that would be it.
Yeah. When we talk to lots of different people and the different reports that come out, they're talking about this current generation. So I should say, like, so is it Gen Alpha or Gen Z?
So bad at these.
Yeah, I feel like.
So they're saying that a lot of the time, and even millennials, the more on phones, the more connected we are to technology, the less likely we are to engage in what you were saying, like courageous conversations or difficult or tricky conversations. So it sounds like for you, a really helpful thing is work out what are my values, so what do I actually stand for, how am I feeling, and then trusting yourself to lean in and embrace. Did you say 20 seconds? Like once you're in, just start to have that 20-second conversation and being really clear on explaining how you're feeling and why. And that's been really critical for you?
100%, because I think if you're not in alignment, it's really hard to feel fulfilled in what you're doing. And I think following your passion, when you're passionate about something, how can it go wrong? And that's the way I see it. Like if I'm passionate about health and fitness. So of course, like for me, it's very natural to be able to then go into that space and deliver and work in that space. Whereas if I wasn't really that passionate, I'll probably be holding back a little bit, or it wouldn't be working as well. But when you're passionate and you're expressing what you want and what you need to people to be able to even like help or network or whatever it might be, I feel like it would always go in your favour.
And based on what you've been saying too, it sounds like not just your passion, but your skills that you also have is being able to connect to people and actually teach and support them to make progress and get developed too. So
yes,
you did that previously as like a teacher, and even it sounds like within your work in the prison, like being able to connect with the different people, and now you're doing it across your different gyms. So you get them, really understand them, and then help them actually make that progress.
Well, I think in this day and age now, we're not connected. And why do so many people feel lonely when really, like, we're connected in so many ways, but we're not actually getting that fulfillment from that connecting? And I think connection is everything, like building authentic, proper relationships, not these superficial relationships where you feel like you're connected to someone because you speak to them, you know, on Instagram or on TikTok, whatever it might be. Like a true connection. That's what people are craving, I think, right now, because we've gone so far down the social media realm that now people are realizing that they've got no true connections. It's like, hang on a minute, we need to go back to, you know, that face-to-face, that one-on-one, that, you know, talking to people in person. Like, where's that gone? Like, I worry for the future generations. They're not going to know how to communicate because it's all done on like phones. It's like, this is really worrying.
If you had to run a masterclass on building connections, because even you were originally drawn to psychology, and now thinking of it, everything that you've done has been connected to people and continues to be connected to people. And you seem like really great at building a connection. Like, I only got to meet you earlier today, right? But I feel like you're a very good communicator and a really good connector. If you had to run a masterclass on like how these upcoming kids could connect and build connections, what would you include in the course?
Gosh, I think listening. Do people actually listen anymore?
I don't know. I'm not sure. We should probably do that, Laura, on our podcast. Yeah, I hope people are listening.
Being curious, asking questions, being invested in what people are saying.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really important. Like, get curious about people. Ask them questions. Don't just talk about yourself all the time. Find out more about them, and then, engage. Like, I just feel like, listening is such a skill that a lot of people don't necessarily do well. But getting curious, like, just fire questions away. Like, I'm a really good listener. I think that's one thing that I do quite well. But I also like to find out about the person, and I'm genuinely interested in the people that I come into contact with. And I like to know about them. So it's just like curiosity.
So you listen not to wait for them to shut up so then you can respond. You're listening to actually find out more.
Yes.
I also think too, like, as somebody who does train with you as well, which is where we got connected, I think you're really good at spotting potential and spotting opportunities to challenge. I think you're very good at it. Even me, I'm the person that's like, I don't want to go up another weight. You're like, Laura, and you just quietly come and you put another weight on, or you're very good at not making it overt, but making people feel safe and being like, I reckon you got this. I reckon you've got this. You can do this. And feeling like someone's sort of cheerleading you in the background. And I think the other thing I wanted to move into with that is the fact that you are creating content online as a fitness person. What do we call it? Influencer?
A fitfluencer.
Pretty saturated space, right?
It is.
Why do you think people come to you? I know why I would, but why do you think people connect with you and what you're putting out there? Because it is a very saturated platform.
I think it's because I'm somewhat realistic. I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm not fancy. My reels, the information I put up aren't fancy either. Like, it's just me being me and just slapping something up on the internet, hoping it works, hoping people can relate. Like, I know what I need or what I would like to see, and I try and give that to my audience. I think that's what it is. Like, I just, I don't have like an amazing camera. I don't have all the bells and whistles. I just have got my little iPhone, and I try and just help where I can, give information that I think is relevant to the people that I work with, that I think is going to be helpful for them.
Yeah.
So,
and you talked about that too in terms of letting go of that fear and that judgment. And you talked about the idea of being a people pleaser before, but then it was really interesting. You were talking about how the key skill is actually standing up for yourself and actually verbalizing what you think and knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable, knowing that maybe somebody might not take it exactly how you want, but doing it anyway. So it's interesting, like even though you might identify as a people pleaser, those behaviors actually go against people pleasing.
Yeah, but I think like when I started on Instagram, my biggest fear was, what will people think?
Totally.
Like I was so embarrassed. I was like, what are they going to think? Am I going to get teased? And funnily enough, one of my friends, who is not a friend anymore, but her daughter said, kids, they never lie, right? They're a little bit too honest. And her daughter came up to me once and said, why are you always on my mum's phone? And I was like, oh, I don't know. She was like, oh, we watch you and we laugh at you all the time.
Whoa.
Yes. And I was like, that's exactly what I was so fearful of, that I would have people who are meant to be my supporters, but actually behind my back laughing at me. And being on the internet is hard. It's courageous. It's again, getting out of your comfort zone. And it's just sad because I feel like we should be supporting each other, not, mocking me behind my back because what I'm doing is somewhat cringe. And yeah, I know it's sometimes cringe, but this is my work. Like, it's what I do.
It's also much easier to make fun of other people than actually get up and do the thing too.
It's something like your biggest supporter online will be someone you've never met. And your biggest hater online will be someone that you actually know.
And isn't that the sad thing, though?
Isn't it?
Like, it's so sad that you've got people that don't know you that are, again, like supporting you, commenting, liking, cheering you on, but you've got people that are meant to be that person, yet, yes.
I think there's the reason why, because I'm thinking that person that's sitting there listening, they're going to take some sort of risk, right? And at some point, someone's going to say something or they're not going to like it.
100%.
And I think there's a reason why with Brene Brown, when she did a quote from, I think, Teddy Roosevelt, which was, you don't take any feedback unless the other person's in the arena. So like he did this metaphor about if you're in the arena, you're a gladiator, you're doing all that, you shouldn't actually listen to the other people that aren't in the arena with you. So if someone else is doing TikToks or Instagram Reels and they give you some feedback, you're probably going to be like, actually, all right, that might be helpful to learn from. But if someone's sitting there not doing it, laughing at you, well, they don't actually matter.
I know. And
which is much easier to say, but then when you go through it, so I was going to ask, what did you do?
Yeah. Like, your biggest fear realize somebody actually.
Yes.
Yeah, here we go. Like, so I'm seeing connection to when you got the devastation from your score. You're like, right, I got to bounce back somehow. What did you do?
Also, the triggering of being teased, like for being yourself. Like, so to me, there's like so much like to dredge up.
Yeah.
We're not going to dox them or announce any like details or, anything. But just what did you do?
What did you do?
In that moment, I was like, oh, okay. And then I remember just feeling so, because I was at their house and I was like, this is really,
so awkward. Even in passing, like you were there and you then had to be with these people.
Yes. And I was like, okay. And then I think I just really retracted. And then I went and told my husband and he was like, okay, like this isn't what friendship is about. Mm-hmm. Are we friends? No. And it wasn't because of that. It was just soon enough, like it was just like our friendship fizzled. And maybe it was because of that, the underlying kind of like, that was the underlying, elephant in the room there. Mm. But it's just, it's very sad that the people that, should be supporting. And that was like I said, that was my biggest fear, that people would be teasing me, jumping online, because it's so hard to do. So hard to show your face every single day on the internet and not knowing what people are saying. And I mean, it's not my business what people are saying. It's not my business if you don't like me or not, if you do or you don't like me. But at the same time, when you are a people pleaser as such, you do want people to like you.
Of course.
Well, Stacey, we'll make sure, let's add in your handles for us for people to be able to follow, because I think we're really all about people being themselves, and I think it's so great that you're just doing what you do. Can we put those into the show notes for people?
That would be amazing. Thank you very much.
I wouldn't dare put you on the spot to tell us that.
But it is that time, like in the world that we're living in, if you're building a brand and you have a business, like there's no way to not be on socials. Like you just
know, and that's
really do. And I think
that's the unfortunate thing.
There needs to be some respect for that, right? Doesn't there? That this is just the way that the world is. You can't. Most people are not watching free-to-air TV anymore. Like,
no.
Where else are you doing it? You got to do it.
I know. And I wish it was back in those, back in simple times where there was no social media, where it could just be advertising somewhere or somehow. But I mean, the beauty is we've got free advertising through social media. But yeah, the downfall is that you could have unsupportive people.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
I love the way that you just bounce back and you just always come back to like the fact that you spoke to Aaron, came back to your values, what do I stand for? I think that's such an important message for people. Stacey, I'm very mindful. I feel like I could just keep talking to you forever, but at some point this does have to come towards the end, which I hate. But something that we normally do towards the end is we try and find out like what's one new thing that you're either working on or what's something we haven't asked you about that you think would really help the listener.
Goodness. Maybe something I'm working on.
See what I did there, Laura? I gave some choice that way, either way. Yeah, that's good.
Stuck into it.
That's good.
Well, do you know what? I'm actually not working on anything, so that doesn't really...
I can do a third option.
What's the third option?
Third option is, what's something you're really excited about coming up?
Oh, can it be not related to like...
Of course.
Give me whatever you want.
I'm so looking forward to Christmas. And the reason why is because my youngest, who is 2.5, is starting to really understand the concept of like Santa and Christmas
What do you mean the
trees.
concepts? What do you mean the concept?
Just the
Yes. Santa. Yes.
Santa.
Yes, gotcha. Sure.
Christmas trees, like he's so excited for it. And I feel like this is going to be a really special Christmas because, he's excited for the lights. He's excited for the trees. He's excited to see Santa. His brothers love him to bits, so they're going to really like make this year a very special one. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm so excited. We have a rule in our family that after Halloween, we're allowed to put up Christmas decorations.
Yes, same here. I'm the 1st of November, kind of.
Yes. Oh, I finally found someone. Yes.
Spirit.
Oh, friends forever now. You have a choice. That sounds amazing. It's such a beautiful time, right? When you can just see all the joy that comes out.
It's your favourite.
It's the best.
I was really worried you were going to say I'm excited for Christmas because I finished my Christmas shopping and I would have been so upset.
No, not that organised.
No.
Not at all. But yes, that's what I feel like. Living life through your children's eyes is very special.
I agree.
Said like a true teacher. I love that. That is brilliant. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us on More Than a Sport.
Thank you. It's been fun.
It's so awesome hearing all your stories. If you do know anyone else that may or may not be like Stacey, I feel like you're a one of a kind, but someone else that has a unique story or pathway to share, reach out to us, Laura, at morethanascorepod@gmail.com. That's right, isn't it, Laura?
It is. Or follow us on Instagram at morethanascorepod.
Oh, we've done very well. We know our handle. That's always helpful too. All right. Can I, now that we're kindred friends, something that we like to do is finish by trying to do a really crisp high five. Can we try a high five? Is that all right? Okay, all right.
Let's do it.
I'm interested. It feels good. That was good. I was ready to go really high. Well, that's okay. I had to lower it. That's right. 5'1" versus 6'2". Any adjust. Thank you. That's so much fun.
That was good.
It's a little sore cheeks.
Everyone's smiling so much.
Smiling.
That was fun. Thank you very much.
Oh, pleasure.